Hi, I'm Gidon from thetechnologyman.com. The LG PK5 sits in the middle of the XBOOM Go trio, both in size and price. I've reviewed both the compact PK3 and the bigger PK7 just recently, but I was interested to see whether this might be the Goldilocks of the range. It combines most of the features of its two siblings. It has 20 watts of output with lossless aptX HD support, up to 18 hours of battery life, an IPX5 water resistance rating, integrated lighting, and can be paired in stereo mode to another identical speaker, which I'll be testing out later. It retails at £150 or $150, but it's often discounted to half this price, so check the link below for current pricing. I'll run through its features and then compare how it sounds to the PK3 and the PK7. I'll also pair two PK5s in a stereo pair so you can hear how that sounds. Finally, I'll compare the PK5 to the Anker Soundcore Motion Plus and JBL Flip 4. So let's take a look. Inside the box you get the speaker itself, a USB-C to USB-A charging cable and a brief instruction manual. I'm pleased to see the latest USB-C charging. Only the PK7 requires a proprietary AC adapter. There's no supplied 3.5mm auxiliary cable. The speaker has the distinctive carry handles of the larger PK7, which does make it larger and a little heavier than it needs to be. It weighs 1215 grams and measures 220mm by 129mm by 119mm. This newer model comes in white, but there's also a slightly older model available in black. The internals haven't changed. I like the design and it's well built like all the speakers in the range, made from a rugged plastic with a metal grille covering the drivers. Like on the PK3 and PK7, the dual passive radiators are perhaps its most vulnerable components. But it still has an IPX5 splashproof rating, the same as a PK7 but not the IPX7 waterproof rating of the smaller PK3, which comes with a tighter fitting flap around the back that covers the ports. But this one is easier to remove, like on the PK7. There's a USB-C charging port, a 3.5mm audio in port, a reset button and the dual play button for pairing to other PK5 or PK7 speakers, which I'll come back to. There's no USB port to charge your gadgets like on the Anker Soundcore Boost, which I would have liked. Make sure this flap is fully seated before getting it wet. The top of the PK3 houses the rubberized buttons. There's a battery LED, power button with power LED, Bluetooth pairing button with Bluetooth LED, volume controls and the pause play button. A double press skips forward a track and a triple press skips back. The button also answers and ends phone calls. There's a voice command button which activates your voice assistant. Holding down this button for 2 seconds cycles the mood lighting mode from the default multicoloured party mode to various other modes, with the last setting turning the lighting off. Finally, there's a Meridian Audio tuned, clear vocal and enhanced bass buttons with their accompanying LEDs, which are on by default. And there's the microphone for voice commands and phone calls. The bottom of the speaker has 4 rubber feet to dampen any vibrations. Like the PK3, the unit is a little fussy on chargers. Although it's USB-C, it wouldn't even attempt to charge using a USB-C to USB-C cable to my desktop charger. You'll need to use a USB-A to USB-C cable like the one provided. The battery LED lights red whilst charging and turns green for 15 seconds when fully charged and then turns off. The LED also indicates the battery status for 3 seconds when the speaker is turned on and not charging. You can check the battery level anytime by pressing the power button for 2 seconds with the speaker on. Unusually, and like the other XBOOM speakers, you don't see the battery level displayed on iOS devices. When you turn the speaker on with a single press of the power button for the first time, the Bluetooth LED will flash. Connect to LG PK5 in your Bluetooth device settings. The Bluetooth LED goes steady. Sound accompanies turning the speaker on and off, Bluetooth pairing and reaching maximum and minimum volume. You can turn the audio prompts off in the accompanying app, which is only available on Android at the moment. A single press of the button turns the speaker off, or it turns off automatically after 15 minutes if not in use. You can't disable the auto power off. It's a simple process, but there's no NFC support for even easier pairing on supported Android devices, like on the Soundcore Boost and Tron Smart Force. The speaker supports multi-pairing with 2 devices at the same time. Press and hold the Bluetooth button for 2 seconds until its LED starts flashing and connect your second device. If you try and connect a third device, one of your devices will be disconnected. It's dependent on device and application, but you should be able to pause music on one device and start playing on the second paired device. If you have 2 PK5s, you can pair them together as a stereo pair for a much improved soundstage, which you'll be able to listen to when I cover sound quality. Press and hold the dual play button for 2 seconds on each speaker. The button's accompanying LED will flash white whilst they pair, which takes a few seconds. The speaker you first started the pairing on will be the left channel. There's a confirmation beep and the LEDs on both speakers stay white. I'll come back to this shortly. The PK5 and the PK7 can be configured using the LG XBOOM Go app, which is unfortunately only available on Android with no iOS version planned. You can update the speaker's firmware, control the lighting modes, configure dual play mode and turn the EQ modes on and off. The latest firmware provided a new sound boost setting under the enhanced bass switch, which makes the speaker louder. I measured an approximate 2 to 3 dB gain in loudness with this enabled, which was noticeable. If you have two PK5 or PK7s paired, you can choose to have them in stereo or twin mode. If they're in the same room, you'd most likely use a default stereo option, which separates the left and right channel and sends them across to each speaker. In twin mode, the speakers both play the complete stereo recording, the better option if they're in different rooms. You can only pair a maximum of 2 speakers together, unfortunately, but you can pair a PK7 with a PK5 if you like. With their different sound characteristics, this can only be in twin mode. I covered the LG Music Flow Bluetooth app in more detail in my PK7 review, so please take a look at that for more details. Both apps are virtually identical and you can use either. The PK5 has 2 mid-range drivers and dual passive radiators, very much like the smaller PK3. It too sounds well balanced, but with its larger size it has a little more depth. It handles bass well while still maintaining clarity in the mids and highs. I preferred enhanced bass on for most of the music I listen to, but I generally preferred the clear vocal EQ off. It does make the speaker sound brighter in the mids, which you might like, but for some music I listen to, it sounded a little overdone to me at least. It's slightly disappointing you can't configure custom EQ settings in the app. It has 20 watts of output and there's very little distortion even at maximum volume, like all the speakers in the XBOOM range. It's not the loudest speaker its size, although with the latest firmware update you can turn on the sound boost option as previously discussed, which will easily fill a medium-sized room. I did find the highs started sounding a bit harsh in this mode, so I mostly left this off. Unsurprisingly, there's not much separation with a speaker this size, but if you do end up with 2, they sound really good as a stereo pair. Apart from the improved soundstage, music also sounds richer, especially for more busy tracks, where the 2 channels can get muddled on a single, smaller speaker. They don't remember their pairing after you turn them off, so you'll have to set up the pairing every time you turn the speakers on, so not ideal for a permanent setup. You can listen to a comparison between the LG PK5 with its EQ presets on and off, the PK3, PK7 and the comparably priced Anker Soundcore Motion Plus and JBL Flip 4. Finally, you can listen to the PK5s as a stereo pair. Let me know down below in the comments if you can hear the differences and which speaker you prefer. I also have full reviews of all these speakers playing other music tracks, so take a look at the links below or via the on-screen cards if you're interested. I've recorded the sound test with binaural microphones that capture stereo sound to try and provide the closest representation of what I'm hearing. Please listen with headphones for the best experience. Use the timestamps below to skip ahead if you like.
Hey now, honey, I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm. Having a good time and doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Hey now, honey, I've been driving around in my car, looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money, but I'll work it out with my charm. Having a good time and doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright.
All the XBOOM Go speakers handle audio sync well, even with YouTube on iOS, which is often troublesome, and the PK5 is no exception. Battery life is quoted at 18 hours, which assumes playback at 50% volume with lighting and equaliser modes off. I used it generally at louder volumes around 75% with lighting on and usually enhanced bass on too, and got over 10 hours, which is pretty good. Like the other XBOOM speakers, the PK5 uses the older Bluetooth 4.2 standard, not the latest 5.0, but range was still good, making it to the far end of the next room in my brick-built house. I didn't get any dropouts in normal use, only when I configured 2 speakers as a stereo pair. Upgrading to the latest firmware on both speakers appears to fix this issue. Receiving phone calls sounded clear. You'll need to get close to the mic for the recipient to hear you. The speaker supports a wide range of audio formats, including the high quality aptX and aptX HD. It will drop to the AAC codec on Apple devices that don't support aptX, which is still better than the default SBC codec. you'd need to be using a premium streaming service like Tidal to really notice any difference. And for the best audio quality, you could potentially connect with the 3.5mm audio cable. The LG XBOOM Go speakers all offer well-rounded sound, good build quality and some nice features. The PK5 is probably my overall favourite. It's not much bigger than the PK3, still has the convenient USB-C charging, has the lighting, dual play and EQ modes of the bigger PK7, and arguably most importantly, it sounds good. A pair of PK5 sounds even better, although I'd consider this a useful feature if you already happen to have two speakers in your household, not a permanent wireless stereo setup. Probably its biggest competitor after the speakers I've tested recently is the Anker Soundcore Motion Plus. It also supports wireless stereo sound with another Motion Plus speaker, has dual tweeters, is IPX7 waterproof, supports custom EQ and is around 2 to 3 dB louder. But it doesn't have the lighting modes and it's generally a little more expensive than the PK5. Sound quality is close between them and it'll mostly come down to personal preference. In LG's lineup, the PK7 can often be had for only a little more too. It has an even fuller sound, but it's much bigger and has its own proprietary charging cable. Overall, the PK5 is an impressive portable Bluetooth speaker that I'd definitely give some consideration to if you're after a speaker in this category, even more so at its often heavily discounted sale price. But I'd be interested to hear what you think. Could you hear the difference with the speakers in a stereo pair? Is this something you'd consider? What was your favourite speaker? Let me know down below. And as always, if you have any questions, please ask. I read every comment and I'll do my best to respond. I do hope you found this video useful. Please like the video if you did. I'm releasing videos every week on the latest technology and how to get the most out of it, so please make sure you subscribe. It helps more than you think. And don't forget to tap the bell icon if you want to get notified as soon as a new video gets uploaded. Thanks for watching.